Hello, Keith. Thank you.
You're welcome, Maureen.
Good evening, everyone. Welcome to Mission Dharma Online. Already feel lifted by seeing your faces. Going to help at least raise my consciousness tonight. We can all use a little help. We're really happy to be with you, to be able to sit with you, and remember the Dharma. Remember the Dharma just means the way it is, and the way it is there is a possibility in every moment of peace. And that moment-to-moment opportunity should not be wasted. We can't wait for world peace, but we have to try to be at peace with the world. So any reminder of that's just actualized by being that environment of peace is a good thing. So I'm happy to be able to remind myself right now, happy to be able to remind you, and really glad you're here. And we'll just wait. Yeah, I guess there are enough of us now that we can say hello to each other and perhaps say where you're calling in from, so we can kind of feel like we're doing our part to surround the planet with a little peace. So feel free to unmute, say hello, say where you're calling in from, and we will.
Hi, Howard. Jim McLaughlin from Southwest Washington.
Hey, Jim, welcome. Always glad you're here.
Thank you.
Pat Kavanaugh from Burnaby, BC in Canada.
Oh, we've got the Pacific Northwest well covered, Southwest Washington and BC.
And Portland, whole coast.
Great. Welcome, Brooke.
Okay, the prairies. Hi, Howie.
Hey, Jill and Saskatchewan.
Yeah, we're both here.
All right. Oh, there you are, Maureen. Great.
Katie from San Francisco.
Hey, Katie. Tried and true San Franciscan.
I'm Paul. I'm from
San Francisco.
Frank and Rhonda, San Francisco. I see Mary waving.
I'm sorry. I was muted. I'm sorry.
No worries.
We're going down the coast, Santa Barbara.
Santa Barbara, welcome.
Hi from Maryland.
Hey, Laura, welcome.
Other coast.
Another coast, exactly.
Hi from Scottsdale.
Is that Cecilia?
It is.
Welcome,
no picture,
Cecilia.
but sound.
Glad to have your sound.
Okay.
And hi from Berkeley.
Hi is that Paul in Berkeley? Welcome.
Yes. Hi.
Catherine in San Francisco.
Welcome, Catherine. Hope your integration has been good from the retreat.
Yes, thank you.
Not an
Hello,
easy
I'm-
world to come into.
Hello, I'm Steve from New Mexico.
Annie.
Hi, Steve. Welcome. Lanny and Barbara in Tucson. I got that.
Lori in Tucson.
Lori, welcome.
Thank you.
Michael from Edmonton.
Hey, Michael. Glad you're with us as always.
Hi, Jeff, San Francisco.
Hey, Jeff. Good to see you. It's happy you were at the day long. I remember where you were sitting off on the left side.
That's good. Yeah.
Keith from Berkeley.
Keith, thank you for co-hosting tonight.
Hello, Amy.
Hey, Noemi.
Yes.
Oh, this is definitely warming my activated heart. Just to be in this Dharma field with friends and lovers of goodwill and wisdom.
Can I say hi? Sorry, Howie. It's Eileen in Sebastopol.
I can't.
I'm a
Oh,
bird.
I can't see you.
You can't. I have a bird up instead of my face.
A bird. Oh, there you are. Eileen. Okay. Welcome.
Thanks.
Anyway, glad to hear your voices. And now it's time to practice, though. It won't be Deepa Ma's instructions tonight, but whatever of Deepa Ma's you remember from last week, feel free to continue to utilize. But I'll just share with you what I'm doing with myself and what I have found supportive. Of course, the first thing I want to do is find a comfortable, if there is one, comfortable and upright posture. It says that actually expresses a desire to be balanced, awake, and calm. And once I found a place of balance and ease, calm, I let my eyes close softly and just hover for a moment, just feeling the soft touch of the eyelids. It's interesting, I just used that word touch that was so meaningful in Deepa Ma's instructions last week. Just the touch of the eyelids and the touch of the lips. The touch of the hands. So each moment that we feel the touch sensation, we move beyond the idea of hands and lips and eyelids, and we just feel that elemental experience of sensation, minus the words. Something in us begins to still come to that single point of touch. And right in that moment of touch, we are right in the middle of it all. That single point that connects us with everything, everywhere, minus the words. Finally, we notice the touch, the place that we feel the breath most clearly. Touch of our nostrils, the touch of the belly or chest rising and falling. It's going to that point or receiving that point of contact and sustaining that touch sensation of the breath through the duration of the in-breath and the out-breath. And dwelling in the space between the breaths, if there is one, the quiet. Letting the body go, letting it be just as it is when it lets go with each breath. It's not directing the breath in any way other than noticing when it's long or short, light or heavy, jangled or smooth, just feeling the touch of the breath as our home base, as our way of stabilizing, way of harmonizing mind and body at this single point of touch. Just this breath, just this moment. Maintaining continuity of attention, including sounds when they become predominant. We simply notice that hearing is occurring. When thoughts come, we notice thinking. When moods come, we notice feeling. Everything welcome and equal. Equal opportunity, objects of mindfulness. Clinging to nothing. Just this moment. Let the attention be imbued with kindness, kindfulness, softening the edges with just receiving, feeling the touch of the breath. Receiving with that soft, kind attention, the sounds and the thoughts and the moods. Receiving that moment of waking up after having been absorbed in a fantasy, a thought bubble. Just remaining steady yet kind. Awareness, steadiness itself. Just this moment. Don't let your mind leave your body. Feel the touch of the breath, the sensations, the sounds. You even feel the moods through the body, even the reverberation of thoughts, a thinking mind, pleasant sensation, unpleasant, neither pleasant or unpleasant. Rely on the touch sensations. Just this moment. Just this point. Thank you so much for your practice. Noticing a few faces that I didn't see before. Happy to see you. I see Nancy there. Good to see you. I see Margot. Always a pleasure. Anyway, really appreciated sitting with you and just felt such an appreciation for just the simple fact of being aware. You know, I tend to look for exotic experiences or the mind getting quiet or the dropping in or this, but just being aware. Just, it's like the big cutting through. It just simplifies our life. Comes down to just what's happening now. And that if there's awareness of what's happening now, it's so workable. And it's such an antidote to the mind that is obsessed naturally right now with our unraveling world. Anyway, so I just appreciated having the time and space just to experience as much continuity of ordinary awareness. Just noticing, and just noticing, and just noticing, and just noticing. Cutting through, cutting through, cutting through. And now I actually feel a little bit of the momentum of that. I don't know if you do, but it does create a kind of current of ordinary presence, a kind of energy of wakefulness. So thank you. And I don't think we do this quite as well when we do it alone, even though it's online. Anyway, I'd love to hear from you though. And since last Tuesday, the 13th, I introduced a 30-day practice challenge utilizing the fierce continuity of Deepa Ma. For those of you who don't know who Deepa Ma is, she's one of my teachers and a great meditation master. You can read about her online, but she had quite a power of ordinariness and presence that would just bowl you over with love and with stillness, with presence. And she really did the bulk of her practice as a householder in daily life. So I tried to bring a little hit of her last week and encourage everyone to practice every day in creative ways and continuous ways for 30 days. And so when you say, if you have a question, comment, love to hear if any of you took that on, any of you noticed anything, but also really any questions, topics that emerged from the practice tonight. Anything in what you noticed, any of the instructions, anything that's been said up to this point. Know that whatever your comment, question is will likely be of some use or benefit to someone else, which is part of our practice of Sangha. So feel free, in other words. And you can either use the raised hand function or wave, and I'll call on you, even though we have a couple pages tonight. Is there anybody that has a question or a comment?
Hello?
Pat, is that you?
No, it's Nancy. I'm new. This is my first time.
Oh,
Here. Yeah.
Without picture, I see.
Yeah, I'm sorry. I think I tried to put my picture on, but I'm not sure. It may be because I'm on a phone. It's not quite working. So
No
I'm
worries,
sorry for that.
but please feel free. Where are you calling in from, Nancy?
I'm just calling in from Fremont, and I am going to I just started meditating about 3 months ago, but I've been meditating every day since then. And I go over to a temple, a Buddhist temple in it's what Budanasorn, I think is how you pronounce it, in Fremont. And there's only a few people who are, most everybody's Asian, and many people speak Pali, and which I didn't realize was actually kind of I guess it's an ancient language, which is used, people learn in order to study Buddhism. I didn't know what it was really, but anyway, but most of the people are Thai or Indian or, from various different Asian countries. So, and I just started coming to this because I really like that practice there. But what I am doing right now is I'm reading a theologian, Paul Knitter, who is both a Christian and a Buddhist. And he writes about dual belonging and he writes about something that's easy for me to identify with, which is that I haven't finished the entire book yet, but he kind of turned to Buddhism, well, partly because his wife is a Buddhist teacher, but Buddhism teacher, because it was difficult for him to completely kind of embrace the idea of a Christian deity. And I have that same trouble. But by the same token, I was raised in the Episcopalian Church, and I've gone to
Nancy, I would love to sit down and hear
Okay, I'll stop
your whole
talking.
story, but if you could streamline it just a little bit.
No, that's all. That's it. Yeah, that's it. That's fine.
Is there anything that was there?
No, I just wanted to see. Oh, I'm sorry that. Yeah, I didn't. I was just wondering if anybody else is trying to sort of combine those two things.
Yes, I think there are many people who are trying to harmonize what the religion or the teachings of their youth were with the teachings of the Buddha and dealing with the notion of a deity, and generally people do find a language that can accommodate both.
Mm-hmm.
And so good luck with that, and happy you're with us. And in terms of the Buddhist practice, it was really to go beyond the idea of God and just experience God. The idea of a Buddha even. There's even teachings, if you see the Buddha on the road, kill him. You don't want to get caught up in the image and the idea of Buddhism or Buddha. The Buddha wasn't a Buddhist. The Buddha was awake. So that's the whole point, is to be awake right now as you hear these words. And are you aware? What are you aware of? And what is that awareness? What is that consciousness that lives in you as you? And we take it to be an I, a story, but what is it in real time? So then we move beyond all the theories and all the ideas into, at least in this teaching, into direct experience. And some people will then language that as the language of touching God, and others will say they just touched the divine or the nature of reality. So anyway, good luck. Happy you're here. Mary, you were next.
Sorry, having trouble with the mute tonight. Hi, Howie. I just want to say I'm very grateful to be here. It's difficult times. There's so much going on to deal with, and so much sadness and suffering and just things that make me feel sad.
This is dukkha. We're living in the plane of dukkha, and it's very dukkha. For those who are not familiar with that word, is a world of unsatisfactoriness, of stress, of suffering, and this is what it means to be human, and it's hard.
At the same time, there's been so many people that were so inspiring and so brave. So it's like this whole gamut, that is pretty intense these days. And I'm just so grateful to be here and to have a community to practice with. It makes a huge difference, and a great teacher. And I'm very, very grateful for Tuesday nights. Usually by Tuesday, I really need it.
Grateful to you, and you are what makes this community. So thank you.
Thank you.
Paul, I guess you were next.
Hi, thank you so much. This is my first time at this Sangha. So,
welcome.
Thank you. And I didn't plan on speaking or commenting, but some of the things that Nancy said made a number of things come into my mind and that have been inspiring to me lately. And one of them was Ram Dass speaking about Christianity, and he just made a distinction. Things that there is the Jesus story, and then there is the matter of Christ's consciousness.
Exactly.
And the other was that Saint Teresa gave an interview once, and the interviewer asked her, what do you pray to God about? And she said, nothing, I just listen. And he said, what does God say? And she said, nothing, he just listens.
Yeah.
And that's just I don't know, that moves me a lot, and it seemed pertinent.
Thank you for bringing it to our community this evening. Appreciate that. I was just reminded that let's see, who did I just saw a text and now I've lost. Pat, did you have your hand up before? Please feel free.
Nothing urgent or anything.
No worries.
Yeah, I sort of following up a bit from what Mary was saying too. I loved the focus on steadiness tonight, and in the simple using touch as a way to ground into the body and feel steadiness. And with that, it kind of opened up into the word you used, Howie, a continuity, a kind of a continuity of steadiness, but a very soft, open steadiness, like very open, not heavy. And I feel it right now, and I'm so grateful for it. Like Mary was saying, because things don't feel steady a lot for me. There's a lot of coming and going. So it's very helpful. And it is true that coming together in community is so helpful. Even online, it doesn't matter. It's just I feel that sense of energy here that's so supportive.
Yes.
Of course, from you, Howie, I trust you. You're teaching so much that it just allows me to drop into something bigger than my everyday identity. Yeah.
Thank you. Well said. Nothing to add. As I often don't have anything to add to the transmission of your mind that you share, and I can feel it. So thank you.
Thank you. And thanks, everyone.
Last call. Anyone? Ilya, please feel free.
Hi, Howie.
Welcome.
I'm right up the street from you here.
All right.
In Mill Valley. So this is my second week here, and I've been meditating for about a year and a half, and went on a retreat with Howie. And what's you had asked about the 30-day challenge, what's actually helped me since I've been hearing Howie's voice a lot for the last few weeks, as I hear Howie saying, be aware in the back of my head. When I'm like going through work or in my car, I can hear you say it, and it really, really has been awesome for me because then I just stopped everything.
Happy
A
to
lot of fun.
happy to be your imaginary friend.
Absolutely. Yeah.
No, it's beautiful. Thank you. And happy to have you on Tuesday nights as well.
Thank you so much.
Hope your integration from the retreat was
it's been good.
Very graceful.
Yeah, it's been good.
Okay. Oh, Nancy, I can't let the opportunity pass.
Howie, I have something that I wanted to respond to with Nancy. I think you really addressed it, but that was something that was very alive for me for many years. The Christianity, the belief in God. I guess I just want to say very quickly that I was confused about all that. And then during a meditation retreat, I had a direct experience of I knew God. And it was no longer a belief or a question. It was a direct experience. And anyway, I just wanted to share that.
Thank you. Thank you. I did not pay you to say that, to reinforce my point. But thank you. And I'm happy that you touched the reality of God.
Yeah.
Yeah. Beyond the words. Thank you. Eileen, I guess we're going to keep going for a few minutes. Please feel free.
Thanks. Something just came to me listening to Nancy L. I once heard Natalie Goldberg say that the more she practiced her Buddhist practice, the more Jewish she became. And I'm Jewish, and I don't even know what that means, but I know that the more me I have become, and it includes that. So I felt moved to say that.
Yes. Beautiful. Yeah, practice brings alive what's authentic in us. Beautiful. So let's see. Let's try to shift gears here a little bit. Not really shift gears, but just kind of tell you what was on my mind. Because I, like Mary Gold, have been slightly what we might put in psychological terms dysregulated by what the head of Canada, Mark Carney, said is a kind of tear in the fabric of the world right now. I mean, really, our president has gone off the deep end and has enough people around who are afraid that they're not doing much about it except just allowing him to run crazy. And I generally try to keep the Tuesday night as a political free zone. And my intention tonight is not to make this political. It's not about parties. It's not about philosophies. It's just the presence. You know, our humanity is our divinity. It is our divinity, Nancy and everyone else. But humans also go off the deep end. It's also human that we go crazy. And we actually have someone who is certifiably mentally ill, who is in a position of power. And at this present time, we don't know, none of us knows when that will subside or what the damage will be. Damage is already just tremendous, the level of cruelty and the level of harm. It's unspeakable and heartbreaking every single day. And so each person I talk to in my life is, in addition to me, and maybe because I just get a contact experience as well, is in the psychological sense dysregulated. Just nervous systems are a little shaky. Our hearts are just raging and heartbroken and so many different things. And it's very easy in those moments to not just let that move through us like changing weather. And remember, change, was the Buddha's guru. And it will be the saving grace of all of this, is that everything is in flux and this period is impermanent. It will arise and pass away, as everything does. And to know that and remember that's going to help us a lot. But in the meantime, we have to be, this is why we practice, is to be fortified, is to be an example of peace, both for ourselves, our families, our near and dear ones, and for the world around us. And we, in some way, this, of course, if we get together with other people and we get out there and we make enough noise, we need at least enough percentage of people to change the tide. But even as we do that, we still need to follow Deepa Ma's advice of to just keep your practice. Don't ever lose your practice, because it's so easy moment by moment, because when we're dysregulated, our body becomes tense. We enter into the state of fight, flight, freeze. And when our body is tight and our mind is a little frozen, it tends to be fertile ground. It's interesting that it's a fertile ground for papancha, proliferation, complication, imagination, just incessant thinking. And I've noticed this a few times where there's a kind of constant internal dialogue, I see it in my own mind sometimes and it's a lot of self-referencing. Where do I fit in the world, or whatever it is? And it's so helpful. I feel so grateful to be able to sit in that slightly more continuity of awareness, to get back to Pat's comment, a little bit more continuity, to be able to see my mind and not extend it, not intentionally follow it. I even brought up again tonight the words that Deepa Ma had. I shared them last week about working with, just about thoughts in general, because our thoughts tend to be the world that we tend to live in. We keep recreating 50, 60, 70 times a day the thoughts of the world. We're creating the suffering of the world moment to moment by imagining it. And of course, we don't want to forget it. We want to respond with all our hearts to the needs of people who need it most right now, who need our voices. But we don't need to keep recreating it in our mind moment after moment. So here's Deepa Ma just again in the little section on thinking and thoughts. Human beings will never solve all their problems. Thoughts of the past and future spoil your time. So just a shifting relationship to thoughts. Your mind is all stories. Let go of thinking. So that, mindfulness's function is to cut through the stream of distress and know, instead of being lost in the thoughts, to know that this is thinking. And so in a way, that noticing the thinking mind is already a practice of letting go. But sometimes we have to say, no, not another time. I'm not going to keep picking this up. Every time I pick up a thought of the world, I'm going to do something. And maybe not, and that's one of the thoughts that we tend to get caught in is, what do I do? What do I do? I want to do something. And we do that out of love. But when you think about it over and over, it reinforces the feeling of being dysregulated. So something, even practice, join some kind of group or something that will, you've heard the expression, action absorbs anxiety. Action absorbs fear. some kind of action in your, maybe in your most immediate environment that moves your energy at least away from the storm of your repetition of recreating the world in your own mind. You know, one of my favorite little teachings, just a little digression, it was one of the early teachings that gave me a little bit of a different relationship to the thinking mind, and through the version of myself that plays in my mind, because, you know, a thought of myself, like I was talking about, all these I thoughts, they describe somebody that doesn't even exist. They're kind of an imaginary me. And you spend a lot of time recreating that. And it was Anagar Kamunindra, the great Indian teacher of Joseph Goldstein, also the teacher of Deepama, who I spoke of last week. Anagar Kamunindra would say very succinctly, he said, a thought of your mother is not your mother. And that made it very much easier to know a thought of myself is not myself. It's a thought. A thought of the world is not the world. And I always say I'm happy that I can think about the world. If I didn't think about the world and pretended I wasn't part of a larger world, that would also be very bad. But the world of my imagination is not the world. And I don't want to, and if I live only in that, I lose touch with the world where it touches me. And that's where the touch of the body, the touch of this moment, simple, ordinary awareness, return to again and again. The ordinary is the most extraordinary. Ordinary mind noticing. I'll just continue reading the Deepama thing. This problem you are facing is no problem at all. It's because you think this is mine and there is something for me to solve. Don't think this way and there will be no trouble. You can do anything you want to do. It's only your thought that you can't do it that holds you back. Whatever beliefs you have, ask yourself, are you sure? Who says, why not? Anything is possible. That was kind of the encouragement to at least notice your thinking. I'll just read one more paragraph about her view about meditation. Mindfulness is the great vocation in life which leads to the end of stress. Meditation is always possible at any time. You cannot separate meditation from life. Always have vipassana, seeing things as they are, as your friend. If you are busy, then busyness is the meditation. If you are rushing to the office, then you should be mindful of rushing. If you can manage 5 minutes a day, then do that. It's important to do whatever you can, no matter how little. But I say all day, just keep tuning in to the ordinary awareness that cuts through, that puts you back in the immediate experience of the world. Just even when I say that, I somehow feel a little bit of relief. Now, nothing has changed in the world, but I feel a little relief. I feel like I can handle it a little better. But if you want to think, I think one of the things that inspires us is if we have a little bit of a technical understanding of what we're doing as meditators. And we use, as Deepama recommended, to feel the touch of the breath. Use what in the teachings called anapanasati, mindfulness of breathing. And the mindfulness of breathing, even in the world of science, it's considered something, when you connect with the breath, it activates your autonomic nervous system and says, it allows your system to say rest and digest, rest. And it allows us to just drop in. Just mindfulness of breathing. Anapanasati. And then when we practice metta, the companion practice to noticing moment to moment, that it's a companion practice. It's also the quality of mind that we want to imbue our attention with, kindness. It has it functions as an antidote to the fight flight feeling. It creates that feeling of safety, of softness, of warmth, right in the middle of whatever we were experiencing, if there's kindness. It's what the Buddha would recommend to the monks when they were afraid when they had to go into the forest to meditate, and they were afraid of both the animals of the forest, but also the demons. There was much more magical thinking in those days, and they would go to the forest, and he would tell them to practice metta, and that it would purify the atmosphere. And in a way, science tells us that it just provides an antidote, and our practice provides an antidote to this feeling of danger. It gives us more of a feeling of safety. Just metta. And then the walking meditation, which for some, I can't, at this point in my practice, I understand in early in my practice, I couldn't connect with it at all, but it became such a central part of my practice. But especially now, it seems so obvious. Anytime we walk, whether we walk to and fro and walk as we would in walking meditation, reminding ourselves again and again that we're not going anywhere, even if you're going somewhere and you feel your steps, just putting your mind into your body, and your body filling your mind itself grounds us. It brings us into those points of contact, bring us into that elemental experience of reality, the earth element, the temperature, the cohesion, the solidity, the elements of nature expressed in our body, just so easily, accessibly felt when we walk. Sorry, I'm getting all kinds of action on the screen here. So the walking practice is very grounding. So please include that in your continuity of practice. Walking down every hallway, walking upstairs, walking downstairs, taking a walk, doing walking meditation. Feel the grounding, feel the cutting through, feel the return to ordinariness. Find the extraordinary in the ordinary. And then excuse me. Sorry, I got distracted by the chat, but thank you, Jeff. Another just such an important element of our practice, especially right now, is how can I say this? The simplest way to say it is that we are masters at thinking about how we feel. We're not very good at feeling. At just feeling. At feeling, Mary models beautifully, Mary Gold models beautifully, just if she feels the grief for the world, she feels it. Of course, she thinks about it too, I'm sure, a lot, but she feels it. And our practice is to learn how to to be a little bit more emotionally articulate, to be able to articulate, not in words, but to let it move through our system like weather. Create the space to feel the grief of the world. My wife is amazing at this. She has this amazing capacity to hold it all and to actually run it through her body and feel it. You know, sometimes that's overwhelming, but our presence, our continuity of practice allows us to develop more capacity for feeling it and for for trusting that we can be touched and we will not be drowned in it, that we'll actually find the next element of the practice through that doorway. Through feeling, we'll find the next element, which is the capacity to hold it all, the joys and the sorrows, expressed in the immeasurable quality of equanimity, the Brahma Vihara, the heavenly abode of equanimity, the quality of the heart that has unshakable capacity, balance, and courage to sit in the middle of it. Somebody like Gandhi, who then influenced MLK. I don't know how many of you listened to the interview on NPR with someone who was a kind of an MLK expert and talked about the years that he spent going to visit Gandhi in India and how much of his commitment to nonviolence and the courage to just sit in the middle of it all was inspired by Gandhi. But it starts by increasing our capacity to feel. When we don't feel, we then outsource. You've heard this before. We don't feel, we outsource our dysregulated emotional body by attacking and blaming. And we spend all day thinking about Trump. It's hard not to. But one of my primary teachings that I've been sharing over the last many years that many of you have heard before is the teachings from Sam Cohn, who was a theologian and psychologist, whose this excerpt is from his book called Faces of the Enemy, Reflections of the Hostile Imagination. And this one maybe inspire you to just grieve. Grieve for our world, grieve for the people who are being harmed right now, grieve for the loss of the democracy. It's so painful, you have to almost laugh. Whew. Anyway, this is what Sam Cohn said. And this little passage is entitled Substituting Grief for Anger. To lessen the quality or the quantity of cruelty and sadism, we must learn to listen to the cry beneath violence. The victor must hear themselves in the victim's cry. The winner feel themselves in the humiliation of the loser. So long as we can visit pain on another, we need not feel our own pain. Anger lifts depression. For a time, purging our rage on a scapegoat relieves us of the feeling. But the need for the cleansing of the unacceptable feelings builds up, and we must plunge into a new circle of violence. The only certain way out of the blind ritual of war is learning to substitute grief for anger. Those who mourn the childhood love they never had, who treat their own wounds tenderly, learn to forgive and to break the vicious circle of the wounded and the wounding. When we're unable to confess that our own parents, our own governments, our own styles of life have disappointed and injured us, we will inevitably create an enemy on whom we heap our anger. Every day we are not grieving is a day we will be taking vengeance. So if we watch our mind create the enemy, if we keep our mindfulness of thinking going, we will be able to stay here, feel our rage, feel our grief, feel our sadness, feel our pain. And why I can say with some confidence that this is a workable solution is because when we feel things, they come and they go. When we don't feel things, they build, and the tension builds, and our sense of being dysregulated builds. So it's all about remaining current, the presently arising experience. And it all, in a way, culminates right where we started, right in the center, right where we feel the touch, right where life touches us. And since we're running out of time, I'll give it a moment or so for announcements, but I'll end with the Maria Rilke poem called Buddha in Glory. Center of all centers, core of cores, almond, self-enclosed and growing sweet. All this universe to the furthest stars, all beyond them is your flesh, your fruit. Now you feel how nothing clings to you. Your vast shell reaches into endless space. And there the rich, thick fluids rise and flow, illuminated in your infinite peace. A billion stars go spinning through the night, blazing high above your head. But in you is the presence that will be when all the stars are dead. May we all both find and stabilize our sense of presence for the benefit of all beings. May all beings be liberated. May all beings be loved and cared for. May all beings live with ease and safety. Anyway, thank you for listening. Keith, I'll leave it to you. Hang on for a second to everyone.
Just a quick reminder about Donna. It's what makes this possible. It's what makes for thousands of years this possible. It is sort of the outpouring of generosity from the heart to support in whatever way you can this Sangha and Howie and whatever other teacher is here. And so I put in the chat different ways you can do that. And beyond the monetary, if there are interest in volunteering, we're always looking for more people to host or other ways to help out. So feel free to reach out in any way you can. And then I also put in the chat the list of the different retreats that Howie is teaching that are coming up. All of those well, they're all over the place. They're from Austin, Texas to Barre, Massachusetts to Vancouver, BC. And the links for all of them are in the invite email everyone got tonight.
Thank you, Keith, and thanks for co-hosting. And I'd like to invite everybody to unmute and say goodnight to each other. Love hearing your voices.
Thanks so much, Howie. Good night,
Thank you.
everyone.
Thank you.
Thanks,
Howie. Good night, everybody.
To moment.
Thank you, everyone.
Be well.
Thank you.
Be well.
Take
Good
care.
night.
Thanks, everyone.
Good night.